Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, have called for de-escalation in the conflict between Israel and Iran, following a call between the leaders. The presidents showed a united front in their response to the escalating crisis on Thursday, after their shared geopolitical rival, the United States, indicated it had not ruled out joining Israel's strikes on Iran. During the call, she called for major powers to help cool the conflict, in a thinly veiled reference to Washington. Russia, which has a strategic cooperation pact with Tehran, says it has been urging the U.S. not to strike Iran, warning it would dramatically destabilize the region and risk a nuclear disaster. Following the call, Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov told reporters that Putin and Xi strongly condemn Israel's actions, which violate the UN Charter and other norms of international law, news agencies reported. Both leaders fundamentally believe that there is no military solution to the current situation and issues related to Iran's nuclear program, he said, adding that a solution must be achieved exclusively through political and diplomatic means. Russia volunteers as mediator. Putin has presented his country as a potential mediator in the conflict over Iran's nuclear program, but so far he has not been taken up on his offer. Ushakov said that during the call, Putin reiterated his suggestion of mediating in the dispute, and Xi expressed his support, as he believes it could serve to de-escalate the current acute situation. Chinese state media reported that, during the call, Xi had called for all parties, especially Israel, to cease hostilities as soon as possible to prevent a cyclical escalation and resolutely avoid the spillover of the war. He added that major countries, with special influence in the region, should step up their diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the situation, Chinese state media reported, in an apparent reference to the U.S. Rough edges. The leaders also remarked on the apparent friction between Western leaders at the recent G7 conference in Canada, Ushakov said. They noted the well-known rough edges that emerged in the relations between participants, the Kremlin aide said, according to the Reuters news agency. The G7, an informal club of major industrialist democracies, concluded its latest summit on Tuesday without leaders issuing a joint statement in support of Ukraine, as it had in recent years. Trump, having made comments in support of Russia at the summit, left a day earlier than expected, making bellicose statements about Iran on his return that have fueled fears of more direct U.S. involvement in the conflict. Iran-Russia cooperation. Moscow and Tehran signed a long-delayed strategic cooperation agreement in January, reinforcing ties between the allies who share an anti-U.S. stance. Although Russia has not yet provided Iran with weaponry, it has assisted with its contentious nuclear program, which Tehran insists is for peaceful civilian purposes. Speaking on the sidelines of the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum on Thursday, Putin said that more than 200 Russians were continuing to work at Iran's Russian-built Bushehr nuclear power plant, and that an agreement had been reached with Israel over their safety. Xi made his first public comments on the crisis at a summit in Kazakhstan on Tuesday, saying he was deeply worried about Israel's military operation against Iran. Ushakov said Xi and Putin had agreed to keep in close contact in the coming days as the crisis unfolds. The leaders plan to next meet in China in late August at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting, the Kremlin aide said.